Throwing away food and products before they expire is a huge waste, but holding on to ones that have expired could make you sick. So we're going to help you decide, should you toss it or keep it? First up, this is a good one, cold-pressed juice. If you bought that fancy juice, paid a lot of money for it, you don't want that money to go to waste. So, should you toss it or keep it past that expiration date? We got some tossers and we got some keepers.
Yeah.
Settle the debate right here, Dr. Jorge.
You toss it. Yeah. You know, cold-pressed juices, it sounds very healthy, and it is, but juices are nothing but sugar. And sugar, if you leave it for too long, is the breeding ground for bacteria.
Yes. And they're not pasteurized. So pasteurization is when you heat something up real quick, it kills the bacteria, and it can sit for longer. Yeah. These are not, so there are possibly bacteria in it, and once you open it, and most people drink like this, so then their saliva gets in, and then that starts to contaminate.
You're disgusting.
No, but that's true. It's the bacteria from your mouth.
You know, they all look at the bottom of the thing, there's backwash, I won't drink.
Well, I mean, that's a good point, though. That if you're not going to drink the whole thing at one sitting, then you should be pouring it into a glass and not contaminating, because, I mean, it's like a Petri dish. I mean, that's ready to grow stuff out in a second.
You know, and that's what food poisoning is, bacteria that grow in certain sugars. So this is potentially very bad for you if you leave it hanging around.
Yeah, and just to keep in mind, this is the cold-pressed juice that's not pasteurized. It's so fertile for bacteria.
Correct.
For sure.
So read those labels. When it's expired, toss it. Next, hydrogen peroxide. Doctor.
So the next one, a common bathroom staple is your hydrogen peroxide. But many of us, if you're like me, have had this sitting on your shelf for years. And you always go back to that same bottle. But the truth is, when you haven't opened it, it lasts for 3 years, so that's okay. But interestingly, once you've opened it, hydrogen peroxide is just H2O2. So the oxygen gets in, it oxidizes. And it doesn't harm you, but it basically loses all its effectiveness. The reason hydrogen peroxide is so helpful for cuts and wounds is because it goes in, it foams, it kills that bacteria, and that's why it works. So if it's lost its effectiveness, it's not gonna harm you, it's just not gonna help you in any way. It's not doing anything. So one really good rule of thumb is that you can always check to see if it's still active by just pouring a little bit, and if it fizzes, you can see right here kind of the bubbles, and you can hear it too. It has that little fizzy noise. That means it's still active, so it's still good. So if it's been open for more than 6 months, you toss it.
I love this, because I would have kept it forever.
That's what we all do.
Well, I'm sure we have bottles under the sink that have been there forever.
Yeah, you know what might be a good idea is put the date on it, because 3 years might be 5 years, you know, it's 2004.
That's being very organized. Would you do that?
I would never do that. I'm like,
great idea.
The rest of you
That's a good
idea.
suggestion.
All right, finally, what's up next? It's ketchup. Now, I know that you have a bottle or two in your refrigerator and you want to save it to the last drop. So, do you toss it or do you keep it? Well, can you people make up your mind? No. This is a keeper. You can keep it.
Thank goodness.
Why is that? Ketchup is actually good 6 months to a year after the printed date that appears on the bottle. But you have to remember, though, you should always store it in the refrigerator. It's meant to be stored in the cold, and it's going to last longer. But Dr. O has his own method. If you unscrew that top and it's hard to get off and it has that black funk in there, that means your ketchup is no good, right?
get crusties.
But
if black funk, toss it.
Ketchup does last because it has vinegar and a lot of sugar in there. I would think the sugar could promote
yeah, but the vinegar offsets it.
Exactly,
right?
keeps it acidic, so it's less likely to spoil quickly. But you know, we were talking about ketchup. I know you like ketchup.
I love ketchup.
When we think about certain things, we immediately want to put ketchup on it. But just remember, a lot of sugar in ketchup. In fact, tablespoon, 5 grams of sugar. That's the same as a chocolate chip cookie.
It is. That's why we love it so much. We get addicted to the sugar in ketchup. Seriously, but it's a lot of sugar.
So in moderation. Once again, ketchup, it's a keeper.